Business ownership doesn't complicate divorce, it's just a factor we have to deal with. So if that business was started before the marriage, it would deem to be separate property. But does the other spouse have a claim to the increase in value in that business? If the business was started during the marriage, then it's going to be marital property. And either way, the business is going to be appraised in some fashion. The appraiser is going to look at a lot of factors to determine what the present value of the business is. What if the business was inherited? What if it was a family business? Does your spouse have a claim to any interest in that business? There's a lot of arguments both ways. Usually the argument is that if the business increased in value, what did the other spouse contribute to that value? So the business most definitely is at play, especially the income that that business creates for purposes of support. Valuation of a business for a divorce settlement depends on a lot of factors, but we always hire an expert to do that. And it looks at a lot of factors. It looks at income, inventory, goodwill of the business. Is the person who's running the business, the spouse in the divorce, a key person in that business? And throughout all of those things, the appraisers come up with a value. From that value, we then determine what percentage belongs, or does the spouse who's not the owner have a claim to. Prenuptial agreements can protect your business interests, especially when you're coming into the marriage with a business. But the key to this is full disclosure. In my practice, I don't just disclose the ownership of that business. I take tax returns and I attach them. I give an inventory list of what's owned by that business. The greater the disclosure, the greater the enforceability. Because prenuptial agreements have to be fair at the time they're entered into and fair at the time they're being enforced. There's a lot of discussion over business debt in the divorce. Is it attached to the business? And if you're keeping the business, do you keep the debt? If you're dividing the business, do you divide the debt? Do you divide it in the same pro rata fashion? Does it reduce the value that you're looking at for purposes of division? So I can't say that there's one way, because this is a real topic of conversation when we're talking about the valuation of a business. It is very case specific. If you have questions about business, prenuptials, and you're in New York, call us at the Sklavos Law Group.